I want to talk to you today about healing, about moving forward after a toxic relationship. Maybe you've walked away from something that drained you, something that stole your joy, your peace, your confidence, and now you feel broken, uncertain, maybe even afraid of what's next. But I want to encourage you, your story is not over. What was meant to break you will not define you. You are stepping into a season of restoration, of healing, of new beginnings. When you walk away from a toxic relationship, you don't just leave behind a person. You leave behind years of memories, emotions, and wounds that run deep. The pain can feel overwhelming, almost suffocating at times. It's easy to replay the past, to relive the words spoken over you, the betrayals, the disappointments. But if you're going to step into healing, you have to make a decision. You cannot carry the pain of yesterday into the promise of tomorrow. You can't move forward while still holding on to what was. Letting go of the pain doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It means refusing to let it define you anymore. Some people think that time alone will heal them, but time doesn't heal wounds. What you do with that time does. You can go 5 years, 10 years, even a lifetime holding on to the same bitterness, the same anger, the same heartbreak. But if you make a decision to release it, to surrender it, to say, I will not let this pain have power over me anymore, that's when true healing begins. You can't change the past, but you can decide how much control it has over your future. There comes a time when you have to stop watering the weeds of your past and start planting the seeds of your future. Letting go is not a one-time event, it's a daily choice. Some mornings you may wake up and feel completely free, like the weight has been lifted. Other days, the memories might hit you like a wave and the pain will try to creep back in. That's when you have to remind yourself, I have come too far to let this drag me back. I am choosing peace over pain. I'm choosing my future over my past. You may not be able to erase what happened, but you can refuse to let it keep stealing your joy. One of the hardest things about letting go of pain is that sometimes it feels like justice to hold on to it. You might think, if I let this go, it's like saying what they did was okay. But that's not true. Letting go is not about excusing their behavior. It's about refusing to be chained to it. It's about saying, I deserve more than to relive this pain every single day. I deserve peace. I deserve healing. I deserve joy. The longer you hold on to the pain, the longer you stay bound to what hurt you. Your heart wasn't meant to carry the weight of the past. When you let go, you make room for something better. Think of it like holding onto a heavy suitcase. You've been carrying it for so long, dragging it with you everywhere. It's exhausting, it's slowing you down. But the moment you drop it, the moment you release it, you feel lighter. You can finally breathe again. That's what happens when you let go of the pain. You free yourself to move forward. Letting go also means releasing the need for closure. Sometimes the person who hurt you will never apologize. They may never admit what they did. They may have moved on like nothing happened while you're still holding on to the hurt. But healing is not about them. It's about you. If you keep waiting for an apology, for an explanation, for something to make sense, you might be waiting forever. Don't put your healing in someone else's hands. Decide today that you're moving forward, whether they ever say I'm sorry or not. The beautiful thing is when you let go of the pain, you make space for something new. New joy, new love, new opportunities. You can't receive what's ahead while your hands are full of the past. There are blessings waiting for you, but you have to be willing to release what no longer serves you. Don't let yesterday's pain block tomorrow's promise. Make the choice today to let go and step into the healing that's already waiting for you. After leaving a toxic relationship, one of the hardest things to do is to rebuild your self-worth. Maybe that relationship made you feel small, unworthy, or not good enough. Maybe you were constantly criticized, manipulated, or made to believe that you weren't valuable. But let me remind you, your worth does not come from how someone else treated you. Your value is not determined by their words, their actions, or their inability to love you the right way. You were created with purpose, designed with greatness inside of you. You were not broken. You are not beyond repair. You are still whole, still worthy, and still deeply loved. Too often, we allow toxic relationships to shape our identity. We start believing the lies spoken over us. If they said we weren't lovable, we believe it. If they made us feel like we weren't enough, we carry that into every aspect of our lives. But it's time to replace those lies with the truth. The truth is you are fearfully and wonderfully made. The truth is you have been chosen for something greater. The truth is nothing that happened to you can diminish your worth. You are not what they said about you. You are what God says about you. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see someone who has been rejected, abandoned, and unworthy of love? Or do you see someone strong, resilient, and full of potential? How you see yourself determines how you walk through life. If you keep believing you're unworthy, you will settle for less than what you deserve. If you keep seeing yourself as broken, you will stay in places that do not serve you. But the moment you shift your perspective, the moment you start seeing yourself the way God sees you, everything changes. You begin to walk with confidence, speak with authority, and expect greater things for your life. You may have been mistreated, but that doesn't mean you are unlovable. You may have been used, but that doesn't mean you are disposable. You may have been rejected, but that doesn't mean you are not enough. People's inability to see your worth does not define you. Their rejection was not a reflection of your value. It was a reflection of their inability to appreciate you. Diamonds don't lose their value just because someone doesn't know how to handle them. You are still priceless, still radiant, still worthy of the kind of love that honors and respects you. One of the greatest ways to restore your self-worth is to speak life over yourself. Stop repeating the negative words that were spoken over you. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, start declaring, I am more than enough. Instead of thinking, no one will ever love me the right way, start affirming, I am deeply loved and worthy of the best. Your words have power. Speak healing, speak confidence, speak restoration over your life. Every time a negative thought creeps in, replace it with a truth that uplifts you. The more you affirm yourself, the more you will believe in your own worth. Healing also requires surrounding yourself with people who see your value, who remind you of your worth, who uplift and encourage you. You've spent enough time around those who tore you down. Now it's time to be around those who build you up. Be intentional about who you let into your life. Choose relationships that reinforce your value, not ones that make you question it. Sometimes healing means creating distance from people who don't respect or appreciate you. You deserve to be in spaces where you are celebrated, not just tolerated. You are not defined by your past. You are not defined by that toxic relationship. You are not defined by what was said about you. Your identity is greater than your experiences. It's time to rise above the pain, to walk in confidence, to know your worth. See yourself the way God sees you, whole, loved, worthy, and full of purpose. You are stepping into a new season, one where you no longer shrink yourself to fit someone else's version of you. This is your time to shine, to grow, and to embrace the powerful, beautiful person you were always meant to be. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things to do after leaving a toxic relationship. When someone has hurt you deeply, when they have betrayed your trust, broken your heart, or made you feel less than, the last thing you want to do is let it go. It feels like holding on to the pain gives you some sense of control, like keeping the anger alive somehow protects you from ever being hurt again. But the truth is, unforgiveness doesn't protect you. It only keeps you chained to the very thing that hurt you. Forgiveness isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about setting yourself free. Some people think that forgiveness means saying what they did was okay. That's not true. Forgiving doesn't mean excusing their behavior or pretending the pain didn't happen. It doesn't mean you have to reconcile with them or allow them back into your life. It simply means you are releasing the hold they have over you. As long as you carry resentment in your heart, they are still affecting you. Every time you replay the hurt in your mind, every time you let bitterness take root, they are still in control. But the moment you choose to forgive, you take your power back. Forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. It's about refusing to let someone else's actions determine your peace, your happiness, and your future. Think about it this way. When you hold on to bitterness, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. The only person it's harming is you. Unforgiveness keeps you stuck in the past, constantly reopening wounds that were meant to heal. But when you let it go, when you say, I refuse to let this define me any longer, that's when real healing begins. Sometimes we wait for an apology before we forgive. We think if they just acknowledged what they did, then I could move on. But what if that apology never comes? What if they never realize the damage they caused? Are you willing to put your healing on hold, waiting for someone else to make it right? The reality is, some people will never take responsibility for their actions. Some will never see the pain they caused. But that doesn't mean you have to carry it forever. You have the power to release it, to say, I am choosing my freedom over my anger. I am choosing peace over resentment. Forgiveness is a process. It doesn't always happen overnight. Some days you may feel like you've moved on, and then something triggers a memory and the pain resurfaces. That's okay. Healing isn't linear, but every time those feelings come up, remind yourself, I have already chosen to let this go. I refuse to let this pain have power over me anymore. Eventually, the weight of it gets lighter, and one day you wake up and realize that the hurt no longer controls you. That's when you know forgiveness has done its work. Forgiving doesn't mean you have to allow that person back into your life. Healthy boundaries are important. You can forgive someone and still choose to keep your distance. You can release the pain without giving them access to hurt you again. Forgiveness is about protecting your heart, not putting yourself back in harm's way. It's about recognizing that your peace is too valuable to let bitterness take root. You are not weak for forgiving. You are strong because you refuse to let the past hold you hostage. Choosing to forgive is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. It's an act of self-love, a declaration that you are no longer a prisoner to what happened. It's a decision to walk in freedom, to reclaim your joy, to embrace the future with an open heart. You have too much ahead of you to stay weighed down by what's behind you. Let it go, not for them, but for you. You deserve to live in peace. You deserve to be free. The words you speak have power. They can either build you up or tear you down. After leaving a toxic relationship, it's easy to let negative thoughts take over. Thoughts that say you're not good enough, not worthy, or that you'll never find real love. Maybe you've been told for so long that you're unlovable, that you're difficult, that no one else would ever want you. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing those lies. But today, I want to encourage you to break that cycle. It's time to replace those negative thoughts with truth. It's time to start speaking life over yourself. You are not what they said about you. You are not the mistakes you made in that relationship. You are not the hurt, the rejection, or the betrayal you experienced. You are a person of value, worthy of love, deserving of respect. But if you don't start declaring that over yourself, those old words will continue to play on repeat in your mind. The enemy wants to keep you stuck in self-doubt, but you have the power to change the narrative. Start saying, I am enough. I am strong. I am healing. I am stepping into a new season of joy and peace. When you speak it, you start to believe it. Many times, we don't realize how much our own words shape our reality. If you keep telling yourself, I'll never heal from this, then healing will feel impossible. If you keep saying, I always attract the wrong people, you'll find yourself stuck in the same cycle. But when you change your words, you change your mindset. Instead of saying, I'll never recover from this heartbreak, start declaring, every day I am getting stronger. Instead of saying, I'll never find love again, start saying the right person will come into my life at the right time. Your words create your future. Think of your words like seeds. Whatever you plant in your mind will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and insecurity, that's what will take root in your heart. But if you start planting seeds of hope, confidence, and faith, you will see those things grow in your life. It may not happen overnight, but the more you speak life over yourself, the more you will see transformation. Don't let the words of your past dictate the direction of your future. Choose to speak what aligns with where you want to go, not where you've been. One of the best ways to reprogram your mind is to affirm yourself daily. Write down positive statements and speak them out loud every morning. Say things like, I am worthy of love and respect. I am healing and my best days are ahead of me. I am strong. I am confident. I am enough. I am attracting healthy and loving relationships. I release the pain of my past and step into joy. At first, it may feel unnatural, especially if you've spent years tearing yourself down. But the more you repeat these affirmations, the more they will become your truth. Be mindful of the conversations you have, not just with yourself, but with others. If you spend all your time complaining about the past, you are giving it power. Instead, speak about your future with expectation. Don't say, I'm just broken and damaged. Say, I am healing and becoming stronger every day. Don't say, I'll never trust again. Say, I am learning to trust the right people. Your words are a reflection of your belief system. And if you want to step into a better future, your language needs to reflect that. The journey of healing starts with the words you allow into your heart and mind. Choose to speak life, to declare truth, to silence the lies that have kept you bound for too long. Your past does not define you. Your pain does not define you. Your words do. Declare victory over your life. Declare healing, joy, and restoration. What you speak, you will see manifest. So today, decide that your words will work for you, not against you. You're stepping into a new season, and it starts with what you say about yourself. Healing after a toxic relationship is not something you are meant to do alone. You need the right people around you, people who will uplift you, encourage you, and remind you of your worth. When you've been in a relationship that tore you down, it's easy to feel isolated, as if no one understands what you've been through. But the truth is, there are people who genuinely care about you, who want to see you thrive, and who will speak life into you when you feel weak. Now is the time to surround yourself with those who bring out the best in you, not those who drain your energy or remind you of your past pain. One of the biggest mistakes people make after leaving a toxic relationship is going back to the same unhealthy circles. Maybe you had mutual friends with your ex, and those friendships now feel complicated. Or maybe you've been around people who gossip, judge, or don't truly support your growth. If you want to heal, you have to be intentional about who you allow into your life. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone has your best interests at heart. It's okay to distance yourself from people who don't align with the new season you're stepping into. There is power in community. When you're healing, you need people who will remind you of your strength when you feel weak. You need friends who will pray for you, who will encourage you, who will challenge you to become better. You need people who will remind you of your worth on the days when you forget. Surround yourself with those who celebrate you, not those who only tolerate you. The right people will help you see your value and remind you that you were never meant to settle for less than you deserve. Be mindful of the energy that people bring into your life. If someone constantly drains you, makes you doubt yourself, or pulls you back into old habits, they are not the right people for you. You need relationships that fill your cup, not ones that leave you empty. Healing requires being around those who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, and who remind you that you are capable of stepping into something greater. If you surround yourself with negativity, you will stay stuck in negativity. But if you surround yourself with love, positivity, and support, you will rise higher. Sometimes the right people are not just friends and family, but mentors, counselors, or support groups. Don't be afraid to seek professional help if you need it. There is no shame in therapy, in finding a coach, or in joining a community of people who have been through what you have. Healing is not just about moving on. It's about doing the inner work to break free from old patterns. A strong support system can make all the difference in your journey. It's okay to ask for help, to lean on others, and to allow people to pour into you as you rebuild yourself. As you surround yourself with the right people, be mindful of who you become in the process. Healing is not just about receiving encouragement. It's about becoming someone who also uplifts others. Be the kind of friend you need. Encourage others, speak life over them, and create a community where healing and growth thrive. The more you pour into healthy relationships, the more you will see yourself grow. Who you surround yourself with will shape your healing journey. Choose wisely. Be around people who remind you of your strength, who see your worth even when you forget, and who push you toward your best self. The right people will help you move forward, reminding you that you were never meant to do this alone. You are stepping into a new season, and the people around you should reflect the healing, peace, and joy that you are walking into. After leaving a toxic relationship, one of the most important things you can do is shift your focus from what happened to what's ahead. It's easy to get stuck in the pain, replaying the past over and over again, wondering why things turned out the way they did. But the longer you stay focused on what was, the harder it becomes to step into what can be. Healing isn't just about getting over the pain. It's about growing beyond it. It's about becoming stronger, wiser, and more aware of what you truly deserve. Now is the time to turn inward, to invest in yourself, and to prioritize your growth like never before. Growth doesn't happen overnight. Healing is a process, and it requires patience with yourself. Some days you will feel strong and confident, ready to move forward. Other days, the weight of the past will try to pull you back. That's normal. Healing is not linear, but every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Give yourself grace. You are not expected to have it all figured out immediately. The most important thing is that you are committed to your growth, that you refuse to stay stuck in a place that no longer serves you. One of the best ways to heal is to rediscover yourself. Toxic relationships have a way of making you lose sight of who you are. Maybe you stopped doing the things you once loved. Maybe you silenced your own voice to avoid conflict. Maybe you became so focused on making them happy that you forgot about your own needs. Now is your time to reclaim yourself. What are the things that bring you joy? What are the passions you set aside? Take this season to explore, to learn, to do things that make you feel alive again. You are more than who you were in that relationship. You are stepping into a new version of yourself. Healing also means learning from the past. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You are a student of them. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, what can I learn from this? Every experience, even the painful ones, can teach you something valuable. Maybe it taught you what real love should look like. Maybe it showed you the importance of boundaries. Maybe it revealed things within yourself that still need healing. Growth comes when you stop seeing your past as something that broke you and start seeing it as something that shaped you. As you focus on your healing, be intentional about what you feed your mind and spirit. Toxic relationships often leave emotional wounds. And what you consume daily can either help heal those wounds or make them worse. Are you feeding your mind with negativity, with self-doubt, with comparisons? Or are you filling it with wisdom, encouragement, and truth? Read books that inspire you. Listen to messages that uplift you. Surround yourself with things that push you forward. Healing isn't just about time passing, it's about what you do with that time. Another important part of growth is setting new standards for yourself. When you've been in a toxic relationship, it's easy to settle for less than you deserve because that's what you've been used to. But as you heal, you must raise your standards. Decide what you will no longer tolerate. Be clear about the kind of love and respect you expect in your life. Growth means no longer accepting the bare minimum, no longer making excuses for mistreatment, no longer shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. The more you grow, the more you realize your worth and the less willing you are to settle. Healing and growth take time, but every day you are moving closer to the person you were meant to be. You are not defined by your past, by your pain, or by what was done to you. You are defined by what you choose to do with it. This is your season of rebuilding, of rediscovering yourself, of stepping into a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and more empowered than ever before. You're not just surviving, you're growing, healing, and preparing for something greater than you ever imagined. One of the most powerful things you can do after leaving a toxic relationship is to establish healthy boundaries. When you've been in a relationship where your limits were ignored, your emotions were manipulated, or your needs were disregarded, it can be difficult to know where to draw the line. But healing requires that you take control of who and what you allow into your life. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They're about protecting your peace, your energy, and your emotional well-being. You spend enough time being drained by toxicity. Now it's time to create space for things that nourish your soul. Boundaries start with recognizing your worth. If you don't believe that you deserve respect, love, and care, it will be easy to let people take advantage of you. But the truth is, you do deserve those things. You deserve relationships that are built on mutual respect, not manipulation. You deserve friendships that pour into you, not ones that leave you feeling empty. You deserve to have your voice heard, your feelings acknowledged, and your space honored. When you recognize your worth, you stop tolerating behavior that diminishes you. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it's an act of self-love. One of the most difficult but necessary boundaries is limiting contact with your ex. It's tempting to keep that door open, to check in, or to allow them to still have access to your life in small ways. But every time you do, you are giving them an opportunity to pull you back into a cycle that you work so hard to break free from. If the relationship was toxic, keeping communication open will only slow down your healing. You have to be firm in your decision to move forward. That may mean blocking them, deleting their number, or removing them from social media. It's not about being petty. It's about protecting your peace. Boundaries also apply to the people around you. Sometimes well-meaning friends or family may try to pressure you into reconciling with your ex or make you feel guilty for walking away. They may not understand what you went through, and that's okay. But you don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You don't owe anyone access to your healing process. Be clear about what conversations you are willing to have and with whom. If someone constantly brings up your past or questions your choices, it's okay to set limits on those interactions. Your healing is your priority, and you don't have to defend it to anyone. Another key aspect of boundaries is learning to say no. If you've been in a toxic relationship, chances are you've been conditioned to put other people's needs above your own. You may feel guilty for saying no, afraid that you'll upset someone or that they'll leave if you don't give them what they want. But saying no is not a bad thing. It's necessary. You don't have to say yes to every request, every favor, or every invitation. You don't have to be available for everyone all the time. Your time and energy are valuable, and you have the right to use them in ways that serve you. Emotional boundaries are just as important as physical ones. If someone constantly criticizes you, makes you feel small, or drains your energy, you have every right to distance yourself. You are not obligated to engage in conversations that make you feel bad about yourself. You don't have to explain yourself to people who refuse to respect your feelings. If something doesn't sit right with you, trust that feeling and act accordingly. Healthy boundaries mean knowing what you will and won't accept and having the courage to stand by those decisions. Establishing boundaries is an ongoing process. It takes practice, patience, and sometimes difficult conversations. But the more you enforce them, the stronger you become. You start to realize that you don't have to allow toxic people to have access to you. You don't have to explain your healing journey to those who don't understand it. You don't have to feel guilty for protecting your heart. This is your life, and you have every right to build it in a way that brings you peace, joy, and emotional safety. You are not being mean, you are choosing yourself. And after everything you've been through, that is the most important choice you can make. Healing after a toxic relationship is not an overnight journey. It's not something that happens in a straight line, and it's certainly not something you can rush. Some days you'll feel like you're making progress, like you're finally free from the pain of the past. Other days, old wounds may resurface, doubts may creep in, and you may wonder if you'll ever truly move on. But I want to encourage you today, trust in the process. Just because you don't see the full picture yet doesn't mean healing isn't happening. Every small step you take is leading you toward a better future. When you leave a toxic relationship, it can feel like everything is uncertain. Maybe you spent so much time focusing on someone else's needs that now you don't know who you are without them. Maybe you're afraid of the unknown, afraid that you'll never find love again or that you'll repeat the same patterns. But healing requires faith. Faith that you are not meant to stay in brokenness. Faith that better days are ahead. Faith that what you lost was only making room for something greater. You may not have all the answers right now, but that's okay. You don't have to have everything figured out to move forward. One of the hardest parts of healing is letting go of the need for closure. Maybe you never got an apology. Maybe they moved on quickly, leaving you with unanswered questions. Maybe you feel like you wasted years of your life on someone who never truly valued you. But real closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you. It comes from deciding that your peace is more important than understanding why they treated you the way they did. It comes from choosing to move forward even when you don't have all the answers. You don't need their validation to heal. You don't need their regret to reclaim your worth. Believing in a better future means refusing to let your past define you. Just because you were hurt doesn't mean you're broken. Just because you loved the wrong person doesn't mean you're incapable of finding the right one. Just because you were mistreated doesn't mean you are unworthy of love. You are still whole. You are still valuable. And you are still capable of experiencing the kind of love and joy you deserve. The key is to stop looking backward and start focusing on what's ahead. Your past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Part of trusting the process is understanding that healing takes time. You won't wake up one day and suddenly feel completely free from the pain of your past. But each day you will feel a little lighter, a little stronger, a little more hopeful. The more you invest in yourself, the more you focus on your growth, the more you surround yourself with the right people, the more you will see progress. It's okay if you still have moments of sadness or doubt. It's okay if you miss them sometimes, even though you know they weren't good for you. Healing doesn't mean you forget. It means you learn to move forward despite the memories. It's also important to remember that your story isn't over. You may have been through heartache, but that's not where your story ends. You still have dreams to chase, love to give, experiences to enjoy, and new beginnings waiting for you. Just because you've been hurt doesn't mean your future is hopeless. The right people will come into your life at the right time. Love will find you again. Not the toxic kind, not the manipulative kind, but real, healthy, unconditional love. The kind of love that respects you, honors you, and sees you for who you truly are. But before that happens, you have to believe you're worthy of it. Healing isn't just about getting over the past. It's about stepping into a future that is so much greater than anything you left behind. It's about realizing that you are stronger than you ever thought possible. It's about understanding that you were never meant to settle for less than you deserve. It's about trusting that no matter what happened before, your best days are still ahead of you. So keep going, keep believing, keep trusting that the process is leading you somewhere beautiful. Because my friend, I want you to know that your story is far from over. What you've been through may have shaken you, but it has not broken you. The pain you endured does not define you. The strength you are building does. You are walking into a new chapter, a chapter where you no longer settle for less, where you no longer accept love that hurts, where you finally realize your worth. I know healing isn't easy. There will be days when the past whispers to you, trying to pull you back into old patterns, into self-doubt, into questioning if you made the right choice. But let me remind you, your decision to walk away from what was hurting you was the first step towards something greater. You didn't leave to stay the same. You left to grow, to heal, to rediscover the incredible person you were created to be. You are stronger than you realize. Every time you choose yourself, every time you set a boundary, every time you refuse to settle, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. The love you gave to the wrong person is not wasted. It is proof that your heart is full of kindness, passion, and resilience. Now it's time to give that same love to yourself. Don't let your past make you bitter. Let it make you better. The relationship may have been toxic, but it taught you something. It showed you what you will never accept again. It taught you how strong you really are. It reminded you that you are worthy of something more, and because of that, you are stepping forward, not as a victim, but as a warrior. Stronger, wiser, and more ready than ever to embrace the life you deserve. So take a deep breath. Lift your head high. This is not the end of your story. This is your fresh start. The best days of your life are still ahead of you. Walk boldly, walk confidently, and never forget that you are worthy of a love that heals, not a love that hurts. You are enough. You always have been. And you always will be. Now go forward and step into the beautiful future that awaits you.